I was in utter panic. My heart hammered violently inside my chest. Breath ragged and sharp. I darted into a small closet inside the boarding house, desperately trying to stay absolutely silent. Out there, she was searching for me, the landlady. Fear wrapped around my mind like chains, leaving me unable to think of anything but survival. Dim light from the hallway seeped through the crack of the closet door. Through it, I saw her shadow glide past. I had just witnessed the horror she inflicted upon my neighbor, Emily. She clutched a large butcher's knife, stabbing again and again with ruthless force and surgical precision. Each plunge of the blade was merciless, unstoppable, but she hadn't stopped there. She slit Emily's belly open. Dark crimson sprayed across the floor, soaking the wood. I bit down hard, struggling not to let a scream escape my lips. Then she carved Emily apart, dismembering her piece by piece, cutting chunks of flesh like some feral beast. The most grotesque moment was when she bent low, drinking Emily's blood as though quenching some monstrous thirst. Finally, she raised Emily's heart in her hand, still pulsing weakly, and let the last spurts of blood drip into her mouth. The heart twitched its final beats as she swallowed, and the sight froze my spine into ice. Terror consumed me. My limbs shook uncontrollably. My hands pressed over my mouth to smother any sound. If I wasn't silent, I knew with certainty she would find me. She would kill me, curled inside the tiny closet, trembling violently. I replayed the nightmare over and over in my head, my mind drowned in fear and despair. I had no idea how I could possibly escape this woman, this cold-blooded monster disguised as a landlady. Her name was Edith. To anyone else, she appeared ordinary, an elderly woman with sharp, unsettling eyes. But I now knew the truth. She was death wearing human skin. When I first moved here, I never imagined this was the evil I would face. I was only a student at a nearby university, renting this place for convenience. It had been 3 months since I moved into her boarding house. I remembered my first day vividly. Edith had greeted me warmly at the door. "Welcome, dear. I'm Edith, the landlady. You've come to rent a room, yes?" she asked, smiling kindly. That smile haunts me now. It was nothing but a mask. "Yes, ma'am," I had replied politely. "I'm Kichi, a student at East University. I was hoping to find a room closer to campus." She led me upstairs to a room on the second floor. "Your room is airy and quiet. I promise you'll be comfortable here," she assured me in a gentle tone. The room was tidy, furnished with a bed, desk, wardrobe, and a large window that let in sunlight. Everything seemed fine, and yet, as I glanced around the hallways, I felt something suffocating in the atmosphere. There were no other tenants, no voices, no laughter, no signs of life. Puzzled, I asked, "Why is this place so empty? I don't see anyone else here." Edith only smiled. "Everyone minds their own business here. They rarely talk. You'll get used to the silence, dear. It's good for your studies." I nodded. It seemed logical at the time, but the gloom never left me. I brushed it off and tried to settle into my new life. After finishing my talk with Edith, I felt somewhat reassured. I unpacked my belongings, arranged the desk and wardrobe, and set up the room. By the time I finished, night had fallen. I showered, collapsed onto the bed, and soon drifted into a deep sleep. The next morning at 6:12, I woke, got ready for class, and stepped into the hall. Just then, the door beside mine opened. A beautiful girl emerged. She smiled brightly. "You must be new here, right?" she asked. "Yeah," I replied, smiling back. "I'm Kichi." Her presence filled me with relief. It was good to finally see another tenant. "I'm Emily," she said warmly. "I've been living here for over a year." "So you go to university too?" I asked hopefully. "Yes. I'm studying at the same university as you." "What a coincidence." She beamed. "We can walk together." "That's perfect." I said, excitement bubbling inside me. From that morning on, Emily and I quickly became friends. On the way to campus, we chatted like we had known each other for years. What's your major, Kichi? She asked. Computer science. I replied. What about you? Psychology, she said, her eyes shining with passion. I couldn't help but admire her. That's amazing. I've always respected people who study psychology. You can understand and help others in ways most people can't. She smiled, cheeks glowing. Thanks. But your field is just as important in today's world. Our laughter echoed down the quiet street. She told me she loved reading detective novels, while I confessed I enjoyed programming and gaming. We promised to help each other, me with her computer troubles, her with helping me relax. The bond grew quickly. Emily often invited me to her room. Sometimes she'd ask me to fix her laptop. Other times we just talked. We walked classes together, studied together, even shared silly jokes late into the night. The oppressive silence of the boarding house didn't feel so heavy anymore. Emily made it feel alive. She made me feel safe. For 3 months, everything seemed normal, peaceful, almost happy. I thought I had adapted to this strange, quiet place. But I was wrong. One evening, Emily knocked on my door with an eager smile. I just learned a new psychology trick. Want to try an experiment? She asked, intrigued. I followed her into her room. Close your eyes, she instructed softly. Picture a place where you feel completely safe. I obeyed, imagining a calm beach with waves whispering against the shore. The thought soothed me. Now open your eyes, Emily said. Tell me what you saw. A beach, the sea breeze, the sound of waves. Peaceful, relaxing. She grinned. See? It works. Anytime you're stressed, think of that place. We laughed together. The atmosphere was light, warm. For a moment the world felt normal. But then, I remembered something that had been gnawing at me. Emily, don't you think it's strange? This whole building is so empty. Isn't it odd that it feels like just the two of us live here? Her smile faltered. She pressed her finger against my lips, eyes darting nervously toward the door. Be careful, she whispered. This place isn't as quiet as you think. Her warning sent a chill racing down my spine. The safety I had felt began to crack. Something was wrong here, terribly wrong. Emily's eyes darted around the room. She shut the windows, checked the corners, then leaned closer. If you're living here, be careful of Edith, the landlady, she whispered. My chest tightened. Why? What do you mean? I can't prove it, Emily admitted, her voice trembling. But I once saw her go into a tenant's room. After that, he vanished. Never came out again. I stared at her in shock. Vanished. She nodded grimly. Weeks later, a new tenant moved in. It complained about a foul smell. It searched for the source and told Edith. She came to open the door, and I saw it. Emily's eyes widened in horror as she recalled the memory. There was a corpse inside, rotting, black stains on the walls, maggots crawling everywhere. I almost vomited. The words sent ice flooding through my veins. What happened afterward? I asked, horrified. People assumed the man died of old age. Edith hired people to clean up and said nothing more. But I know something's wrong. I felt it ever since. Her voice shook with conviction. Don't trust her, Kichi. She's hiding something. Something terrible. I sat frozen. Could it be true? Edith, the smiling old woman who had welcomed me, connected to the sword? Emily grabbed my hand. Promise me you'll stay cautious. Please. I nodded, though doubt lingered inside me. I'll be careful. But you're not completely sure it was her, are you? Emily's gaze hardened. No, I'm not sure. But my instincts tell me. Something is deeply wrong here, and we can't ignore it. We quickly changed the subject, forcing ourselves to laugh about silly stories from class and childhood memories. Her laughter was bright, but I could see the fear still glimmering in her eyes. As we talked, I suddenly felt it, like unseen eyes watching me from the hallway. I turned sharply toward the door. Nothing, just the darkness. I shook it off, trying to focus on Emily's smile. She was cheerful, comforting, and I found myself drawn closer to her. Her kindness made me forget the unease, at least for a while. But it was a deadly mistake, because Edith had heard our conversation, every word, and from that moment, she began to plan something unspeakable. That night, after chatting with Emily, I returned to my room. Everything seemed normal. I lay down, exhaustion dragging me into sleep, but my dreams were poisoned. I saw a dim, suffocating room. A woman's silhouette loomed Edith, clutching a knife, her cold eyes gleaming, her twisted smile burning into my mind. I tried to wake, but it felt as if invisible hands pinned me down. Sweat drenched me. My heart pounded like a war drum. When morning came, dread still clung to me. I remembered Emily's warning, and panic tightened in my chest. What if Edith had overheard us? I grabbed my phone and messaged Emily. Emily, I think Edith heard us last night. We need to leave. Today. Asterisk. Her reply came instantly. Are you sure? Asterisk. Yes, I can feel it. We can't stay here. Please, we have to leave now. Asterisk. Emily agreed. Asterisk. Alright. It's Sunday. I'll pack. We'll meet and leave as soon as possible. Asterisk. I hurried to pack my belongings, hands trembling as I shoved clothes into bags. But there was too much. Time slipped away faster than I expected. Before long, darkness fell. I texted Emily again, frustration sinking in. I couldn't finish packing. We'll have to stay one more night. Asterisk. Her reply carried unease. Asterisk. Okay, but be careful. I'll be ready at dawn. Asterisk. Exhaustion crushed me. I collapsed onto the bed, forcing myself to rest. But sometime after midnight, I stirred, thirsty. I rose and opened my door quietly. The hallway was silent. Shadows stretched long and thin. A thought crossed my mind. Emily. Maybe I'd peek in, just to see her sleeping peacefully. Something innocent, something comforting. I crept toward her door, eased it open, and froze in absolute horror. Edith was there, over Emily's body, a knife in her hand. She was tearing her apart, pulling organs out piece by piece. Emily's heart, still beating faintly, was raised to Edith's lips. She licked the blood as if drinking some grotesque wine. My own heart nearly stopped. Terror drowned me. I wanted to scream, to rush in, but my body was frozen. If I entered, I'd die just like Emily. I stumbled back silently, fear choking me. Couldn't let her find me. Not next. But Edith's footsteps echoed behind me, heavy and relentless. Panic surged. I ducked into a closet near the restroom, holding my breath. Her shadow stopped outside the door. My heart hammered so loud I thought she'd hear it. The knob twisted, creaked. The door slowly opened. I exploded out, kicking her with all my strength. But her body was solid, unyielding, like striking a wall of stone. I didn't wait. I ran. Edith roared behind me, knife flashing in her grip. I bolted down the corridor, fumbling for my phone, dialing with shaking hands. 911. A calm voice answered. What's your emergency? She's trying to kill me. I screamed. My landlady. She murdered my friend. Please, you have to help me. Stay calm. Where are you? The boarding house, 32 Elm Street. Hurry. Please. She's right behind me. Find a safe place to hide. Officers are on the way. I can't. She's chasing me. I can't stop. Tears blurred my vision. My lungs burned. Keep the line open. We'll guide you. Don't give up. But Edith was relentless. Her footsteps pounded closer. Her knife glinted in the faint light. The shadows themselves seemed to close in around me, and I knew this was no ordinary woman. This was something else, something monstrous. I burst out of the boarding house and into the empty street, lungs on fire. Behind me, Edith's footsteps thundered closer, her knife gleaming under the dim streetlights. "Please," I cried into the phone. "She's right behind me. Hold on. Officers are on their way. Stay alive," the operator urged. But Edith was fast, too fast. Her shadow loomed, closing the distance. My legs burned, every step agony. Couldn't slow down, not even for a second. If I did, I'd die. Suddenly, pain ripped through me. Edith held her knife. It buried itself deep into my shoulder. I staggered, nearly falling, a scream tearing from my throat. Through sheer desperation, I ripped the blade out. Blood streamed down my arm. I kept running, clutching the phone in my slippery hand. She pulled out another weapon, a long, gleaming blade, and charged. "No," I gasped, stumbling. My strength was fading. A wild thought shot through me. Use the knife. Fight back. I spun, held the bloody knife with all my strength. It sliced through the air, striking her face, embedding in her skull. But the horror only deepened. She didn't fall. She didn't even slow down. Edith kept coming, her body moving as if nothing had pierced her. Terror froze my veins. "She's not human," I whispered. Then sirens. Red and blue lights flickered at the end of the street. Hope flared inside me. "Here. I'm here," I screamed into the night. But Edith realized she was out of time. With inhuman speed, she lunged, her blade stabbing straight through my stomach. Collapsed. Agonizing fire spread through my abdomen as blood gushed out. She yanked the sword free only to stab me again, deeper, twisting the steel. My vision blurred, my body convulsed. I could feel my insides tearing, spilling. The sirens grew louder, closer, but too late. My strength ebbed away. Darkness devoured my vision. The last thing I saw was Edith's cold smile as she ripped the blade out. And then gunshots, shouts, silence. I thought it was the end. But when I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a hospital bed, bandages wrapped tight around my abdomen. Pain seared every inch of me. I could barely breathe, barely move. A doctor entered, gasping in shock when he saw my eyes open. "You're awake," he whispered, "after 4 months in a coma. You're alive." For months, vegetative. My family had suffered, scraping money to keep me alive. Tears welled in my eyes. I should have been dead, but somehow, I wasn't. I croaked out the question that haunted me. "Edith. What happened to her?" The doctor's face paled. "The police caught her, but she wasn't human. She was a monster, a murderer who hid for 15 years after slaughtering 15 people. They finally ended it." Relief swept over me. My chest ached, but for the first time in months I felt safe. As the doctor left, I closed my eyes. No more running, no more screaming. At least, for now. The hospital room was quiet, sterile, smelling faintly of disinfectant. I lay there, my body wrapped in bandages, every breath heavy, every movement aching. The doctor's words still echoed. Asterisk. "You've been in a vegetative state for over 4 months. Asterisk. For months. Suspended between life and death. My parents had nearly gone bankrupt paying to keep me alive." The thought crushed me with both guilt and gratitude. I closed my eyes, whispering, "I shouldn't even be here." Yet somehow I had survived. When the doctor returned later, his face carried unease. I asked him again about Edith. He spoke quietly. "She's been caught, but listen. She wasn't what you think. She wasn't human." The words chilled me to my bones. She hid for 15 years after murdering 15 people. A cold-blooded killer who blended in with the world as if she were just another face. But she wasn't. She was something else. I lay in silence, unable to speak, my heart hammering in my fragile chest. The nightmare wasn't just mine. It had been stalking others long before me. Still, I felt relief. Edith was gone. At least that's what they said. I sank back into the bed, exhaustion pulling me down. The pain dulled, replaced by numbness. For the first time in months, I felt sleep taking me without terror chasing behind. No blood, no footsteps, no knife, just silence. And for now, that was enough.